So this is their ugly phase. This is when they actually start to outgrow their fuzz, their yellow fuzz on their bodies, and their feathers still aren't coming in quite as fast, so they get all fuzzy, or they have that yellow fuzz and their skin starts to show because they're outgrowing their fuzz and their feathers can't keep up. Now I got one of them in here with a bad wing. That would be me. Yeah, you're never too old to be done. So anyways, makes chores just a little bit more difficult, but otherwise chores are getting done. So they are 3 weeks old now, and they are eating machines, and they, on top of that, they are pooping machines as well. So this is an 8x8 coop here. Keeping this clean would be a near every 2-day task to completely pull, clean everything out and put new bedding down. There's an ugly one. So what I do is I just keep adding pine shavings down each day or every couple of days because their poop builds up. Wherever you set their feed, their poop, that's where you can see they spend the most of their time. There's a mound of poop right here because that's where I had the feeder at, was right there. So I've actually moved the feeders out of the way. I got 2 feeders in here, and I've moved the water around a little bit too to kind of make them have to move from one to the other. But just throw fresh pine shavings down every couple of days. That way I'm not trying to corral all of them in one corner and trying to get everything cleaned out. They're only going to be in here for another week before I put them back out on pasture, or before I actually get them out on pasture, because it's been raining for the last 4 days pretty much continuously, and the temperatures are 40 degrees today. We actually had snow here 2 days ago. We had pretty big snowflakes, and the mountains of West Virginia, they broke records going back to 1923, so what a freak anomaly there. So that's why they call it May. Maybe spring, maybe winter, maybe 20 degrees, maybe 70 degrees, maybe rain, maybe snow. We just don't know. So again, these guys will go out next weekend. I'm only keeping them in here because of the weather, because they're not fully feathered yet, and I don't want to take them out, let them get wet, get them get cold, and end up losing my flock, because I've already got enough money invested in these guys already. All right, so otherwise we're supposed to see good sunshine and warmth starting Friday, and it looks like it's going to stay pretty much the lowest in the 60s through the day, and then down in the high 40s at night. So weather's picking up. I've still got the heat plate and the heat lamp in here. They're still spending time over there underneath of it. Of course, this isn't completely, you always want your like little vents up here. You always want to leave air space where they can vent, where the heat can get out, otherwise it'll build up humidity. That's why you don't put heated water in their coops. So that allows airflow without being drafty in here. All right, so that's the 3rd time I've seen the sun today, and I still can't see it. I think the clouds just thinned out a little bit there, enough to get some more sunlight in here. So it's been like this for, like I said, the last 4 days, and pretty much constant steady rain. Little breaks here and there like that, but nothing more than maybe a half hour at best. So we're getting a good saturation here. The ground is definitely showing that, and we needed it. This has been one of the driest springs I think I remember for quite a long time. We had burn bans throughout the state because the ground was so dry, and the foliage and stuff was still dry, and there was brush fires and forest fires pretty much all over the place, so they had a statewide burning ban. I did this Saturday. I woke up Sunday, and just probably nothing more than a mild moderate sprain, and so I started stretching and doing all the stuff that I was supposed to do to kind of help maintain the mobility in that wrist, and it took off. And what I found out is I know I have gout, but when you have inflammation, you're already susceptible anyways, because your joints and your tendons are already pretty sensitive because of the uric acid crystals from having gout. And I take medicine for it, but I eat a high meat diet. So what I found out is that when you injure a joint, you already have uric acid crystals there. When that inflammation sets in, it draws in more uric acid crystals, and you end up with a gout flare. And yeah, that thing's dirty. So let me tell you, I've had 6 orthopedic surgeries. I've had things pinned back into place where they broke off and went in a direction they wasn't supposed to. This is in my top 5. Never thought I'd ever have anything like that. And I've even experienced kidney stones before too, which was hopefully a one and done, but I don't want to go through that again. But this was definitely top 5. So it's getting a little better. I'm staying on top of the ibuprofen and everything like that. No other medicines. I just take it and, get that inflammation down. So hopefully soon, in the next couple of weeks, we should hear from the NRCS about the greenhouse to see if whether we got that or not, get commitment for funding. I met with the lady with the West Virginia Farm and Food Coalition. She is the food shed coordinator for, I think, 3 or 4 counties. And I met her at her greenhouses and stuff. What a fantastic person she is. She is phenomenal. We learned a lot. And this is something that we really need to learn in this society. And I'm hot now. I got my coat on because it cooled off. But now that sun come out and warmed up a little bit. So you learn stuff when you talk to somebody. Clearly we have, and I don't mean to bring politics into this again, but clearly we have different party affiliations. Where I'm independent, I'm not one side or the other. I'm kind of somewhere I'm in the middle where the people count. That's where I'm at. But clearly we had 2 different philosophies of politics, but we met right in the middle. We had a great dialogue. We agreed on more than we ever would disagree on. And I love that because we need to do more of that. While the 2-party system is keeping us divided, keeping us fighting, if we would actually take the time to have a civil conversation and share our commonalities with each other, I think we would find out that we're all pretty much somewhere right in the middle all the way around. But fantastic person. She's got a great heart. She's got great motivations. Their organization provides food to I think it's called West Virginia Healthy Children, or healthychildren.com, or whatever. And I'm sorry, I forgot that. But they provide all the food that they grow to this organization and stuff like that. And just in one county alone, where they're at here in this part of West Virginia, they're making 800 meals a day. And they're feeding daycare centers, they're feeding senior citizen centers, and recovery centers. So all good stuff, helping people out, getting people the food and the nourishment and nutrition stuff that they need to help them recover, get healthy, and be healthy. So I can't fault that, because my motivations will run along the same, as to provide healthier food for myself, my family, and be able to share it with the community and stuff that I live in, and for people who need access to that kind of stuff. So that's my motivations. Of course, I'm building this for my children, but hopefully those motivations carry over into theirs as well, and they follow the same route. But so really good meeting. Like I said, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll know if we get the commitment to funding for the high tunnel. And I'm immediately already planning on, as soon as we do that, I want to go ahead and plan on year-round growing in it. And I can do that by running, believe it or not, you can run heated, like radiant heat. You can do that in the ground with a gas boiler. I can do it just a natural gas boiler, and run conduit in the ground inside of the high tunnel, and get the soil temperature up enough and keep it to where I should be able to grow year round. There's people already doing it. They're using alternative methods of heating, like with compost and biomass and stuff like that, but I would go with that route, and that way I know I would have more consistent heat and can control the temperature a little better. Especially with the climate being like it is, where we're having, we hardly even had a winter this year, where we had the one storm that they called a once in a generation storm, and it was cold, but I mean, other than that, we've had no real snowfall. And it was a fairly bland winter for that part. Definitely low sun. What else? The pigs. So hopefully, I got my truck back finally. The truck was down because I got hit about a month ago, and I had to put a whole new bed on the back of on the truck. It's a steel bed, so I had to put a whole new bed on it. And I just got it back this past weekend. And I need to go get the stuff to get the other chickshaw built, to get the American breasts out on the grass, and hopefully get the Meaties out on the pasture next weekend. And then I can really focus on getting the pig pen down here, getting it extended into 2 farrowing pens with a couple farrowing huts, because we're expecting piglets in July. So the 3rd breed of chickens comes at the end of June. That would be the Niederrheimer. By that time that they come, I'm going to try to time it where I can get these 2, the Delaware broilers and the American breasts, together, and get them crossbreeding to where I can get those eggs incubated and hatched and raise them alongside of the Niederreimers, and that way they'll hit maturity at the same time, and we can just continue that crossbreed that way, and that way we end up with a good dual purpose bird for good size for meat, good egg layer, good forager, good sturdy bird, and it would still be of all 3 heritage breeds. So I can't really complain about that. that idea until I see what we end up getting, and then I could probably complain because it probably won't work out for me. But we'll try. But that's the whole purpose of that, is to be able to build a breed here that we can continue and keep it going here. And I don't have to buy birds every year from the hatchery. You know, every time I want to raise meat birds, I can raise these up. I can separate out what I want to put out on a pasture for meat. I can keep what I want to keep for pasture raised eggs, and just build from there and go from there. Because if we start the farm business and we start getting good surplus of eggs, which we're already getting from these two breeds here, then I can, you know, we can start selling eggs. We can do this, we can do that, and have a good supply to keep in, you know, keep in stock and everything. So we'll see. We may do another round of Cornish cross this year after this one, where I think 72 birds is what we got right now. Out of 75, we had 3 die, and I'm sure we'll have a couple more deaths before, you know, it's all said and done with, because that's just typically what happens. And then after that, then by the time the Niederreimers and the hatchlings from these two mixes here come to fruition and get to breeding age and everything like that, then it'll probably be next spring, and we can just start from there and just put them out on grass, raise them for 16 weeks. Less commercial feed consumption, more natural foraging and stuff. Yes, I know, you're mad. I got a broody American breast hen, and every time I go in to get the eggs, I got to move her off the eggs, and she is not happy with me. French. Because they are a French breed, so yeah. Now the Americans are just as bad, it doesn't matter. Anyways, so that's it. That's the update. The pigs. Pee-wee still hasn't gotten out of that pen. That gate's been open for more than a month, and that boy still ain't coming out of that pen. I don't know what's going to take. But I hope to, in the next month or so, get the girls moved over and get him and Boris back together and keep them up here. And then I can continue with that paddock on up the hill, out through the woods and down, and let them have all that as well. The lambs, I've changed my mind with the lambs. Yes, I know, you're grumpy. Tell everybody how mad you are. All right, so from that corner post down there, right there, from that one, I'm going to take the fence and I'm going to go that way behind the rabbit hutch, my finger out of there, around, down, and then tie into the bottom of this fence. And the plan is to put like a little shelter over here for the lambs. Every time I get my finger in there, it goes fuzzy. So over here in this area, put a shelter for the lambs, get them started in that section to eating the browse, and then they can just move right through here and have at it. And this is probably where they'll spend the entire summer, depending on how soon I can get that done. I went and bought, I think I've got 50 T-posts. I bought them about 2 weeks ago. I need to go get another 50 to make sure I got enough for both this and up there on the upper paddock for the pigs. But hopefully get all that encompassed. That's all wooded hillside. I'm not using anyways. I like no real use other than 4 animals. So I can get them in there, and we'll use this as the lamb paddock. And we'll move them around as we need to and let them just eat. Love that browse, and that'll do us all kinds of good, because they eat that browse. I'll go in behind them, cut it down, they can eat the rest of it, and then I can come in and overseed, which I did overseed all this already. And I did it, I think it was Thursday or Friday. I come in and it's all no-till seed, so I pretty heavily seeded all of this in through here. Pigs were originally all the way out, and I ran out just at the other side of the building over there, so I have to come back through and finish that on out through there. But hopefully it all takes. And we got some good vetch, hairy vetch, dakin radish, triticale, there's all clover, there's all kinds of good stuff in there. So good for the soil, good for the critters to munch on later on. And that's it. Hopefully get recovered from this, because this slows me down. It's a hindrance, and it aches like a daggone toothache. That's the bad part about it. And I've actually had to change my diet. I've had to cut way back on the amount of red meat, because I was eating red meat for breakfast every day, red meat for dinner every day. Throw some chicken in between here and there, and you know, but I've really had to cut way back on the red meat, which is terrible at this point for me. So I'm eating a lot more chicken, and there's certain fish I can still eat, but as far as the red meat, I've cut way back on it. And I'm going to talk to the doc about maybe another medicine instead of the one that I got that supposedly decreases the production of uric acid, where it helps you eliminate it. So we'll go that route. And I'd hate to even take a medicine, because it was a pharmaceutical that actually caused me to get gout in the beginning. But I'm pretty much stuck with it at this point, unless I go to a completely no purine diet. Purine is the component of red meat and other fishes and meats and stuff like that that automatically converts to uric acid. So telling a meat eater he can't have red meat, that's terrible. All right, that's it. I'll quit complaining. Anyways, guys, I can't tell you enough. Get and stay prepared, especially in this world with what's going on. Fourth major U.S. bank fell just recently. It's trickling down. It's going to continue to get worse. You know, economy's going to just go crazy. They're already calling for a recession. I've said that before. Get your food stores put away. Get prepared for at least 3 months minimum, 3 months minimum. And remember, if you go, I'll be good for a month, and you eat that food up when times get hard and that month comes to an end and that food comes to an end and you got no way to replenish it, that's what I'm telling you. 3 months minimum, and then build from there. Get your 3 months minimum and then build out from there. Have enough to get you through long lean times. Have enough to be able to get you through even longer lean times, or a way to replenish them. So 3 months should be your golden standard as your minimum starting point. Dry goods, it's easy to do. It's not difficult. I showed you guys how to do it before. Get and stay prepared. Stay free. God bless.